The night sky over Earth was calm, filled with stars that shimmered like silver dust scattered across black velvet. 12-year-old Ethan Cross lay on the grass of his family's small farm, staring up at the constellations. His world was simple then: school, chores, and dreams of adventure. But that night everything changed. From above, a faint blue light appeared, cutting through the clouds like a silent blade. Ethan sat up, blinking. It wasn't a plane. The light descended slowly until it stopped right over the fields. A circular ship, small and silent, hovered only meters above the ground. His heart pounded, but curiosity pushed him forward. The ship's door opened with a hiss and a small figure stepped out. It wasn't a soldier, not a robot, just a young girl, maybe his age, with pale silver skin and eyes that glowed faintly purple. Her hair shimmered faintly under the moonlight and a metallic collar glowed around her neck. She looked frightened. Ethan froze, but she raised her hands, open palms, showing peace. I mean no harm, she said, her voice soft but trembling. Please, I just need help. Her accent was strange, her words slightly off, like she had learned English from machines. Ethan swallowed and nodded slowly. You're not from here, are you? She shook her head. No, my ship crashed nearby. I ran, the others. They are searching for me. Ethan didn't understand everything, but he saw something human in her eyes. Fear, exhaustion, hope. Without thinking, he grabbed her hand. Come on! You can hide in the barn. They ran together through the tall grass, their footsteps light under the moonlight. Inside the old wooden barn, Ethan covered the windows with hay and old tarps. He brought her water, bread, and a blanket. When she finally spoke again, she whispered her name. My name is Lyra. I am from the world of Orcs. I was taken by a trade ship. My people call it slavery. Ethan's eyes widened. You mean they forced you to work? She nodded, touching the collar around her neck. This keeps me bound. If they find me, they will take me back. Ethan clenched his fists. That's not right. Lyra smiled sadly. You're kind, but your world is small and mine is far. You can't fight them. He didn't like that. Then I'll grow strong enough to help. Someday, when I'm older, I'll come find you. I promise, Lyra tilted her head. Find me? Yes, Ethan said firmly. I'll come to your world, and I'll free you. Maybe we can, I don't know, be together. The words made Lyra laugh softly, a gentle sound that warmed the quiet barn. You're strange, Ethan Cross. Maybe, he said, smiling. But I mean it. Before dawn, searchlights appeared in the sky, alien hunters scanning the fields. Lyra looked up, terrified. They found me. I have to go. Ethan's heart sank. No, stay. I can't. If they find me here, they'll destroy your home. She touched his hand, her voice shaking. Promise me you'll live. Promise you'll remember me. He nodded, trying not to cry. I promise, Lyra. One day I'll find you again. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his, a strange Orisian gesture of farewell. Then she ran into the glowing dawn, disappearing into the light of a returning ship. Ethan stood there long after the ship vanished, the morning wind brushing against his face. The stars above no longer felt distant. They felt like a promise waiting to be kept. Years later, the return of the sky 15 years passed. The small farm was long gone, replaced by tall towers and solar grids. Earth had entered the galactic age, finally joining the wider universe. Humans now traded with other species, built colonies on moons, and even had peace treaties with faraway worlds. Ethan Cross was no longer the quiet farm boy. He was now a pilot for the Terran exploration fleet, known for his courage and quick thinking. But even after all those years, he never forgot the girl with silver skin and purple eyes. He had searched records, archives, and trade routes for her planet, Orcs, but the system had been listed as restricted zone by the Galactic Council. No one could enter without permission. The reason? It was controlled by a powerful syndicate that used the planet for labor trade, the same kind that had taken Lyra away. Ethan's fists always tightened at the thought. The promise still burned in his heart. Then, one ordinary morning at the orbital station above Mars, something unusual happened. A captured smuggler's ship was being inspected by Terran security. Among the rescued passengers were alien refugees, many from the outer colonies. Ethan was not on duty, but he went to see them out of habit, offering help. And there, standing among them, was her, silver skin, Purple eyes. The same faint glow, but older now, taller, her features sharp and graceful. Her metallic collar was gone, replaced by a mark of freedom burned faintly on her wrist. For a long moment, Ethan couldn't breathe. Lyra turned, her eyes scanning the humans until they stopped on him. She blinked, her lips parting in disbelief. "Ethan?" she whispered. He took a step forward. "Lyra, it's you," she smiled weakly. "You found me." Ethan shook his head in amazement. "You came back," her expression darkened. "I didn't come for peace. I came because something terrible is coming. The syndicate that enslaved my people, they are rising again. And this time, they plan to strike Earth." Ethan stared at her, shocked. "Why Earth?" "Because humans are expanding fast. The syndicate fears you. They want to end you before your people can end them." She looked down. "I came to warn you, to keep my promise too." Ethan stepped closer, his heart pounding. "You remembered?" "I never forgot," she said softly. "You once promised to come to my world and save me. Now I have come to yours." The station lights flickered as alarms began to ring. Outside, distant flashes of light signaled ships jumping into the solar system. Unmarked, fast and dangerous. Lyra turned toward the window, her voice calm but urgent. "They're already here." Ethan's training kicked in. "Then we fight." He looked at her, and for the first time in years, that same childhood fire returned to his eyes. The promise he made beneath the stars was no longer just a dream. It was destiny. The space around Earth glowed with danger. Hundreds of alien ships dropped out of warp space, their dark hulls marked with the red symbol of the Vraxis Syndicate, the same slavers who once controlled Lyra's world. The orbital station trembled as alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the corridors. Civilians ran for safety, and defense fighters launched from their bays like arrows from a bow. Ethan stood beside Lyra at the viewing deck, staring at the enemy fleet spreading across the blackness. His heart raced, but his voice stayed calm. "How many ships?" Lyra's glowing eyes scanned the tactical display. "More than 50. They have carriers, destroyers, and—" She paused, her voice tightening. "One capital ship. That's the Oblivion Hammer. It was the ship that took me from Orcs." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Then that's the one we take down first." Lyra turned to him, surprised. "You're going after their command ship?" "Alone?" He gave a half-smile. "Not alone. I have you, don't I?" Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "Always." The battle begins within minutes. Ethan was back in his fighter, the Horizon Spear, one of Earth's fastest interceptors. Lyra sat in the co-pilot seat, linking her alien interface skills to the human systems. Her glowing hands moved quickly over the controls, syncing Terran technology with Arisian tech. The result: faster targeting, smarter shields, and smoother maneuvers. "All ships, this is Captain Cross," Ethan said through the comms. "We hold this line. Protect Earth, protect each other." Hundreds of Terran pilots responded with a single word. "Aye." The human fleet surged forward like a storm. Laser beams, plasma bolts, and missile trails cut through space. The Syndicate ships returned fire, but humanity fought harder. They had something their enemies didn't: a reason to protect home. Lyra's voice guided Ethan through the chaos. "3 fighters at your left flank." "I see them." Ethan twisted the controls, spinning the Horizon Spear into a tight roll. The alien fighters followed, but he pulled a sudden reverse drift, locking onto them. "Now!" Lyra pressed a glowing rune on her console. Twin energy blasts shot forward, hitting both enemy ships dead on. The explosions lit the void with blue fire. Ethan grinned. "Nice shot." Lyra smiled faintly. "I learned from the best." But the joy didn't last long. The capital ship, the Oblivion Hammer, entered firing range. Its main cannon charged with crimson energy, aiming straight at Earth's orbital defense ring. Lyra's face went pale. That cannon could destroy an entire city from orbit. Ethan pushed the throttle to full. "Then we don't let it fire." A desperate plan inside the Horizon Spear. The ship's engine screamed as they raced toward the massive vessel. Dozens of enemy interceptors tried to block them, but Ethan dodged and weaved through the chaos like lightning. "Ethan!" Lyra shouted over the static. "We can't take that thing down alone." He shook his head. "We don't need to destroy it. We just need to reach its core." Her eyes widened. "You mean board it?" "Exactly," Lyra blinked. "That's madness," he smiled. "That's human. As the ship neared the enemy's hull, Ethan cut the engines and fired magnetic anchors. The Horizon spear latched onto the Oblivion hammer's outer armor with a metallic thud. They suited up quickly, Ethan in his Terran pilot armor, Lyra in her Arisian exosuit. Together, they stepped through the docking tunnel into the dark, metallic corridors of the alien warship. Inside, the air smelled of burnt metal and oil. Red emergency lights flickered across the walls. Lyra touched a nearby panel, her fingers glowing faintly as she accessed the ship's data. "There's a reactor core in the lower deck. If we overload it, the ship will implode." Ethan nodded. "Then let's finish this." The heart of the enemy. They moved silently through the corridors, taking down guards as they went. Lyra stunned enemies with her energy pulse, while Ethan used his rifle with precise aim. They worked perfectly together, human instinct and alien intelligence in sync. When they finally reached the reactor chamber, a massive sphere of red energy pulsed before them. Surrounded by glowing conduits, Lyra stepped forward. "I can overload it manually, but someone needs to guard the entrance. Once it starts, there will be no time to escape." Ethan's chest tightened. "Then I'll cover you." She looked back at him. "If we fail, Earth will fall. Are you ready to die for your promise?" He smiled gently. "I didn't come here to die. I came here to keep it." For a moment, Lyra hesitated. Then she nodded and began her work. Sparks flew as she connected her energy bands to the reactor interface. Alarms blared through the corridors. From outside, more Syndicate troops were rushing in. Ethan fired continuously, his rifle heating up. He shouted over the noise, "How much longer?" 30 seconds. He ducked behind a console, reloading fast. "You're cutting it close." Lyra's voice was steady. "Trust me, Ethan, you always did." The door exploded open and a huge alien commander stepped in, towering, armored, and furious. The same kind of slaver who once captured Lyra. He raised his plasma blade, his voice echoing in the chamber. "You human filth." Ethan didn't hesitate. "Yeah, that's me," he charged forward. Their weapons clashed in a shower of sparks. The alien swung with monstrous strength, but Ethan dodged and countered with a blade of his own, a combat knife forged from Terran steel. The fight was brutal, fast, and desperate. Ethan was thrown against a wall, his armor cracked. But he stood again, bleeding, unbroken. Lyra screamed, "Ethan! The core is ready." The alien commander turned toward her, but Ethan moved first. With a last burst of strength, he tackled the alien straight into the glowing reactor conduit. A massive surge of energy erupted, consuming the enemy in light. Ethan fell to his knees, his vision fading. "Lyra, did we do it?" Lyra rushed to him, pulling him up. "Yes, but we need to go now." They ran through the collapsing ship as explosions shook the corridors. The reactor's overload spread fast, tearing through the metal like fire through paper. Just before reaching the exit hatch, Lyra stopped. "Ethan, the blast will overtake us." He looked around, found an escape pod, and pulled her inside. "Hold on." The pod launched just as the Oblivion hammer exploded behind them, the fireball lighting up the void. The shockwave pushed the pod through space until it was caught by the Terran fleet's scanners. After the storm hours later, Ethan woke up in a medical bay on the orbital station. His arm was bandaged, his uniform torn. But beside him, sitting quietly, was Lyra. She smiled softly when he opened his eyes. "You made it," he smiled back weakly. "Told you I'd keep my promise." Her eyes shimmered. "You saved my world once. Now you've saved yours." Ethan looked out the window. Earth was safe. The Syndicate fleet was destroyed. Humanity had proven its strength once again, not through power alone, but through heart. Lyra took his hand gently. "Your people will be known across the stars now. Even the Syndicate feared you." Ethan chuckled. "Humans have a habit of doing the impossible." She looked at him quietly. "So what now?" He met her gaze. "Now we rebuild, together." Lyra tilted her head, smiling softly. "Together?" Ethan nodded. "You once asked if a small human world could fight for you. We did. And I still remember what I promised that night under the stars." Her cheeks glowed faintly with emotion. "And I remember who gave me hope." Outside, the stars shimmered again, bright, endless, and full of new beginnings. For Ethan Cross and Lyra of Orcs, the galaxy no longer felt divided between alien and human. It was simply one sky shared by two hearts and a promise that had finally been kept.